Justice can make you better, not bitter, if you're hearing my voice. It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles. It's Friday, January 6th, 2023 A.D., 2 years since the mostly peaceful patriotic protest, part of which turned into a lightweight riot, right? A little bit. Almost resembled the terrible Black Lives Matter insurrection, right? Which I, of course, disavow insurrections, especially ones that are not based in justice. But happy Orthodox Christmas to the Orthodox Christians, the Russians, the Armenians, some of the Ukrainians, I can only assume. Lots going on today, January 6th, 2023. Gonna have a nice loosey-goosey Friday show for you guys. I'm gonna talk about some Hollywood actors, child actors of the 60s or whenever, and of today. They're being violated in various ways, but they're not victims. Or at least not once they become adults, but they're playing victims now. It's such a shame. I hope to touch on the invasion going on at the border. There are people who know a lot more what is going on than I know. And I hope to share some of what they know to you guys, or at least point you to the right direction. I will be reading the Skim, though. The far left females at the Skim. What a mess. Prince Harry, Prince Tattletale. He got beat up by his brother. I shouldn't laugh. That's not nice. It's not good to have family strife, is it? Necessarily? Terrible. I do have a clip from the other day that I want to share with you. I don't know, it might be boring, honestly. But it is a black young lady. You know, I call her young. Lesbian. Karine Jean-Pierre. KJP versus Peter Doocy of Fox News. Talking about the invasion. It's from a few days ago, a couple of days ago at least. But, yeah, and I have a website to promote that I think this guy knows some stuff. Federale, fifthcolumnist.wordpress.com. Nice. All that and your calls, if you would like to call in. I know I wasn't able to get to all of the calls yesterday. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the A.J. Gallardo original theme song from Christmas Eve 2017. Very nice. Real Christmas, not Orthodox Christmas. Shout out to the Orthodox. And happy Epiphany, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Hope you're well. It's Friday, January 6th, J6. Remember Ashley Babbitt. Remember former officer Sicknick. Well, he's not the fallen officer Sicknick who got the stroke. People claimed the fake news, which I read, claimed that he was hit over the head with a fire extinguisher. No, those were other officers, and they survived fine. Officer Sicknick got a stroke or something at 46 years old or something. It was a couple of years ago. In the violent, deadly insurrection. Give me a break. They weren't even armed, these guys who broke windows and moshed with the cops. Terrible. What a mess. Divided country. And injustice against the real American people. But it is Epiphany. That is when also known as Theophany, in Eastern Christian traditions, a Christian feast day that celebrates the revelation of God incarnate, as Jesus Christ, God in Christ, right? I think that's when the three wise men, the three kings of the Orient, bore gifts, following the star to find Jesus. Emmanuel, God with us. I don't know what they mean by God incarnate. Anyway, nice. I have some stories, a lot of stories to cover for you guys. Not a lot of clips. And, of course, your calls. First, though, let me get to Art in Ohio. He's on the line. I didn't get to him yesterday. Art in Ohio, how you doing, man? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. We late because I talked to you a little bit after New Year's, but yeah, same to you though.
Nice.
First thing first, I want to tell you to, keep speaking on blacks. You know what I mean? All the dysfunction and whatnot they doing. Keep speaking on the whites, whether they liberal, they conservative, whether they right or wrong. Keep bringing it to the light because a lot of these blacks or whatnot they talk about racist this and racist that, but they supported a party that is basically how I want to say it. They're giving the kid a loaded gun, and they're sitting back and knowing what the kid is going to do with the loaded gun. It's only inevitable what a 2-year-old is going to do with a gun. When they're sitting there doing that, these white liberal Democrats and rhino conservatives sitting back and laughing at you or whatnot. And it's just crazy or whatnot that they don't see it or whatnot. All money ain't good money. You know what I mean? And they think that just because somebody is giving them food or feeding them that they're their friends, but they don't see that they're selling them out or whatnot. And it's putting them in a position that we're there in a position right now. And I can break down a few of those things right now. First thing first, you had Biden. He passed that little, he arrested all them people back in the day or whatnot with that crime deal when their party is the one that's bringing in drugs. We already know Democrats or whatnot, they're part of the prison, the pipeline industrial complex or whatnot. So even with the child support, that's how Democrats in the courts get their money, by putting the fathers on child support or whatnot. So they're going to let you dummies bring these drugs in here or whatnot, and now they're going to start arresting you. In part, you sit back and look at a lot of these rappers or whatnot. Now a lot of y'all is going to jail. Y'all falling right up under that Biden regime or whatnot. They letting y'all bring the stuff in or whatnot, and then they plan on giving you 30 years or whatnot. You ain't going to never see your kids again, let alone if you even survive off of overdosing off the fentanyl or whatnot that they letting y'all bring over here. Same thing with the Mexicans. Y'all signing yourself up and signing up for a deal that ain't no good deal, especially under this regime or whatnot as far as with Biden. And it's just crazy that they don't see it. And I don't promote selling drugs or whatnot. Drugs is bad for your health. Don't do drugs. And milk does the body good. That's an old 80s baby term. You grew up on that too, where they had the commercial.
Oh yeah,
milk does the body good. Yeah. So yeah, man, I just don't see how they don't get it. And then I want to tell you something else that I noticed that Tucker Carlson said like 2 weeks ago. He said that the CDC said that if you took the vaccine, it was the CDC and another one of them little things or whatnot. I think Washington Post, something like that. I can't remember the exact name. He said that if you took that vaccine, the chances is that you're more likely to get it lowers your immune system. So basically, you're more likely to be able to get sicker with maybe a common cold or anything else.
I've heard people say that. I don't know what the truth is, but to me it seems like it's quite possible. Who knows?
Well, we already knew. That's why I was saying that back in the day or whatnot. When I was talking to you on your show a while ago, as far as that, it was some doctors that was on YouTube, the ones that they were censoring, saying that the vaccine does something and alters their blood or whatnot.
Right.
And that's why I was saying what I was saying or whatnot about my grandmother and my great aunt. But you noticed, did you hear about the football player well, y'all know you heard about the one that passed out on the field?
Yeah. Yep, and his heart stopped.
Well, I ain't going to want, his heart stopped. So check this out. We ain't know they ain't going to tell the truth. I wonder if he took that vaccine.
That's what I wondered too. I really wondered that. I don't know, and I don't want to assume, but I really wondered that. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's awfully kind of funny. Allegedly, his heart stopped because that's what happened to my aunt. She was a diabetic, and she's the one who took the vaccine. And it's something like that would happen with her or whatnot. And I think they said it was something about a blood clot. She had a whole bunch of blood clots in her system or whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And I wonder if that's happening to that NFL player or whatnot. But we said it a while ago, you know what I mean, that y'all was all these celebrities was taking these under-the-table deals from these pharmaceutical companies, promoting this stuff. You got all these people and these athletes and a whole bunch of people taking this stuff and whatnot. And now y'all gonna have to pay the price or whatnot, pay the piper for participating and taking that and getting a whole bunch of other people on that. That's
yeah,
that. And one more.
They definitely overstated the efficacy and the safe and effectiveness of it. It's not safe for everybody, that's for sure, and it's not effective. It's not that effective. That's for sure too. Seems like.
Yeah. So what was I was about to say something else. With the McCartney dude running for the House Speaker.
Uh-huh.
No, they need to hold out Matt Bates or Gates or whatnot. Yeah, I agree with him. Yeah, they need to hold out. We don't want none of them in that. If you was being a lifelong politician, it's over with. We don't want you nowhere around there. McCartney's out. We want new people in there. McCartney's already showed his hand. Any other politician already showed your hand. If you was for all this vaccine and shutting America down, being non-American, all this liberal, transgender, trying to take the rights away from parents, all this little stuff, man. We getting you up out of there as far as voting you up out of there. They need to hold out. We don't want McCartney in there or whatnot. We want a new face, and they need to hold out as long as they possibly can. And I already are from Ohio. I want to say that I'm proud of y'all. Y'all stay holding out, and if y'all got to make sure y'all order food and don't shower for a month, 2 months, 3 months, however long it takes. Y'all stand on y'all's 10 toes and y'all hold out, but don't let him get back in the office, McCartney or whatnot. And if they'll fold before we fold, but we ain't letting up. Just like I said, y'all hold out. We don't want no McCartney. Y'all was pushing this vaccine. Y'all let all this stuff come across the border. Y'all endangered America.
Yeah.
Don't know who coming across the border. You can guarantee you, it's a whole bunch of terrorists that's over here or whatnot. That's probably been having something to do with a lot of these power plants and stuff being attacked and blown up or whatnot over here that they're not saying nothing about. So, y'all already let us know what y'all think or how y'all feel and with your actions and your inactions that y'all ain't for America. So, therefore, we don't want y'all in these positions no more. And American people are serious about this. And y'all don't have to worry about Artie from Ohio. I tell you one thing, all that FTX and y'all taking that money or whatnot, I heard allegedly y'all been taking money from drug people and from mob bosses and a whole bunch of illegal money. I know y'all better get them people's money back because they ain't me or whatnot. And I'm pretty sure they serious about their money, and it's going to be a lot of, you know what I mean?
Right.
You dealing with criminals or whatnot, and I'm pretty sure they can probably get their hands on you or whatnot. If you got any type of common sense, Hake, they can, you playing with people, them mob bosses' money or whatnot, or gangsters' money or whatnot, they want their money back. So y'all need to be worried about getting them people their money back and stop all that scamming because they serious about that. But I thank you for your time, Hake, and I'll catch you later, buddy.
Well, thank you, Art from Ohio. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He mentioned the McCartney, he called him. Paul McCartney. excuse me, Kevin McCarthy, I don't think that the Congress is as tough. I'm looking up at the Fox News screen. I think we should move the screen over to there so it's not distracting, or I don't know. Because I frequently will look up, and I notice that JLP will frequently look up, and normal people who don't know what we're looking at are like, what are they looking at? Looking up there all the time. Anyway, those people aren't so hardworking. They like adjourn and come back at noon or something like that the next day. So they're not there like 24/7, you know? Weak. They're just have their cushy jobs, and I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of drudgery and boringness over there. But terrible. Let me read a few chats from the live chat regarding Epiphany. Epiphany. I never really knew what Epiphany was, but like I said, it does have to do with the three wise men, or the three kings coming from the east, from the Orient. The Orient, or the Orientals. A couple of years after Jesus was born, visiting him. When I was a kid, I thought, oh, they all showed up on Christmas night, or on the night Jesus was born. No, they came later. And they were following a star. And they found the star had parked over where he was living, I guess. Did they all live in Bethlehem somewhere? Because I think they met with King Herod, who was purportedly king of the Jews. And these three kings of the Orient, three wise men, said, King Herod, help us find the new king of the Jews. He was just born within the past 2 or 3 years or so. And Herod's like, oh yeah, go find them. So I can go worship him too, or something like that. And I think that they were warned by an angel after they did find him, not to go back to Herod, but just to go. Because Herod didn't actually want to go and worship Jesus or honor Jesus. He wanted to kill him because he's like, next king of the Jews, I'm the king of the Jews. And so he killed all the boys under 4. Sorry, kids. And Matt Living the Dream says those three kings, according to Matt Living the Dream, and he knows a lot of stuff, and he may be right about this. I'm not one to dispute it. Were from Daniel's school. Remember Daniel in the lion's den? Daniel, who was, I think, friends with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Only Daniel had a normal name for some reason. He was taken into Babylon when Jerusalem was sacked, 600 years before Christ's birth. Amazing. So those three kings were from Daniel's school, because Daniel was a wise, I don't know if he was from the tribe of Judah, so I don't know if I could call him a Jew. But he was from one of the wise Israelites, along with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were all wise. They ate only vegetables, and they had good color on them, whereas the other wise men who were hired in Babylon, or slaves or whatever, from other countries, ate choice meats, and they looked all sickly. So vegetables are good for you, according to the Bible, the Old Testament. Of course, you are supposed to eat meat too, but maybe not so much choice meat. And vegetables too. It's in the Bible. I remember reading it. Those three kings didn't show up, according to Matt Living the Dream, until Jesus was 2. Those gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh that you may have heard about paved the way for Christ to get out of Israel when they were killing all the new birds, which is a euphemism for boys under 4. That's right, Herod. Was Herod Jewish too? He was purportedly king of the Jews. He was a wayward Jew, right? Something like that. Because he was married. Was he the same Herod who was married to Jezebel, and Jezebel's daughter seduced him with her dancing, and he's like, oh, I'll give you up to half my kingdom. And she's all, according to what Jezebel said, oh, give me the head of John the Baptist, because John the Baptist said, oh, you're committing adultery by being with Jezebel or something like that. But anyway, I don't know if that's the same Herod. But vicious, nonetheless. Yeah, Jesus and, well, Mary and Joseph. Joseph was warned in a dream by an angel to get out of Bethlehem, right? I think. And so they went down to Egypt. Shout out to Egypt. Back in the day. So he fled, and so where were the angels for all those other? Don't the other baby lives matter? And under 4-year-old lives matter? Apparently not. Not as much as Jesus' baby life mattered, or toddler, or whatever you call it. Interesting, huh? James, people of the past, 85% were vegetarians, according to Jabril. Is that Jabril? Jabril. Jabril? Jabril. Gabriel. I didn't know that those people came from Daniel's school. Daniel was loved by Nebuchadnezzar, I think. I think he was. And I think so were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. One of those people who were the kings of Babylon. Some wise men, or wise guys, should I say, convinced the king of Babylon or somebody to have people worship him. And people who wouldn't worship him have to go into the fiery furnace, or worship some statue that they made. Go into the fiery furnace. That was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And then there was a fourth man who got thrown in who was in the fire with them when they went into the fire, and they didn't get burned. And people say that that was Jesus, but I don't know. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego survived the fiery furnace, and Daniel survived the lion's den. But not the people who set him up. Didn't they get thrown into the hungry lion's den and get eaten up? Crazy. Different times, huh? Different times. And you know, let me also honor January 6th. I feel dumb calling them patriots now, because Hassan got made to look silly by being asked what a patriot is. Because Hassan's wearing his show them your patriotic jacket, American flag jacket, Hassan. I heard that you're not supposed to wear the American flag, but this is not the American flag. It's an American flag motif. So I don't think that it's not taking an actual flag and making a mockery of it. People think, oh, you're not supposed to wear American flag bikinis and jackets and T-shirts and stuff. But I think that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So what did you tell? JLP asked him what a patriot is, because he was wearing this jacket this morning on the Jason Lee Peterson show. What is a patriot again?
Yeah, I gave this whole analogy on how America and God are similar.
America and God are similar.
Well, because I was saying how, like, even in America, you know, you hear veterans even say a lot of times, like, I fought for you to even be dumb. You know what I mean? Or
I fought for you to have the right to say that dumb thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You hear that.
The freedom of speech.
And it's, in a lot of ways, it's kind of true. It's kind of like how God will let you just be a mess, let you do your thing, and he still loves you, you know? And America lets you do dumb stuff, even if you don't love America.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And so how does that relate to patriotism? Is patriotism sort of next to godliness in that you let people suffer?
Yeah, I think so. I think just being appreciative, being thankful for, because that's what I said. And then he was like, well, what does that mean to be thankful and appreciative? And I think just, I guess, to be able to, to have the ability to love it or not love it is, I guess, even the people who don't love it can be considered patriots. But no, I think actually if you do love the country back, it's like when you're a Christian and you love God back. I don't know.
You know what? What do you think of? So, you know what? I kind of think of the patriotic protesters who got set up in the January 6th thing. A lot of them were totally peaceful, and some of them didn't even go into the Capitol. Some moseyed on into the Capitol. I argue that it wasn't obvious to them that they shouldn't be going into the Capitol at that point.
Yeah.
Yet they still got charged with trespassing and parading and all these things. But a lot of them were kind of like in my mind, the misguided Christians who are like Peter, overzealous Peter, who thought, I will never betray you, Jesus. And he cut off the ear of some soldier who went to arrest him or something like that.
Yeah.
And Jesus healed the ear of the soldier or whatever. And then Peter, later, he tucked his tail between his legs. Once it started to look like it was getting real, he got recognized, and Jesus was like going towards his death. And he's like, I don't know the man. So I feel like that's us patriots who are weak. We're emotional. We get caught up. We get set up. We get accused of being angry haters. And we are, many of us, angry haters. But we love the country still. Or have an emotional love for the country. We want what's right, we think. What did you think of January 6th? Were you aware of what was going on in January 6th, 2021?
I almost went.
Oh, nice.
But I do remember Jesse kind of even, just that was me kind of first hearing Jesse and like trying to stay away from the anger, because I do think that definitely, who knows, maybe there was Antifa there, maybe there was some setups, but it doesn't mean that when one thing happened that the others didn't also overreact potentially,
Right.
and fall for the bait like we all do. So yeah, I mean, I think that it definitely was a just thing to want to verify the votes, want to check it all out, and I think we have the right to do that. It's just, unfortunately, you never know and could trust what is going on behind the scenes to make things turn into what they turn into.
Yeah. It is so interesting.
And initially, I was like, man, if Trump would have went, it would have been like George Washington, like leading the people. But I'm so glad now that he didn't, because if there was gonna be a setup regardless, it would have really been. I mean, they're already trying to blame it on him, and he wasn't there.
Yeah,
so if he would have been there, and there still would have been some foul play on the other side, he would have been cooked.
Interesting.
So I think it was good that he, didn't.
Yeah, people have called my show. One guy called my show and said that the FBI raided his home. He was like an Italian guy, I think, New Yorker. The FBI or somebody, feds, raided his home because he was seen on security camera footage stepping through a broken window. It looked like a doorway, and he was making excuses, and it may be a valid excuse. It was so crowded that he had nowhere else to go but through that doorway once he got to the doorway. But it was actually not a doorway, it was a broken window he stepped through into the Capitol building. And when you see trouble like that, you should probably go the other way. I don't know if he was able to see trouble or had the wherewithal, but we got to be wise and not get caught, because they're so lying and deceiving and selectively punishing people and way overboard punishing people who, in my opinion, many of them are not even guilty. In my opinion, Derek Chauvin probably doesn't even belong in jail, but they got a murder conviction, I say with an asterisk, separate from the January 6th thing. But there's so much injustice going on that you have to see that you're not going to get justice in the courts or anything. So it's best to avoid the trouble in the first place. There's a time not to avoid trouble, but there's a, like you said, when you get caught up, and like Jesse says, when you get caught up, then you're gonna get messed up. Man, it's crazy how they lie and say, or I don't know if they're lying. I think they are. But they go way overboard saying, oh, it was safe and secure, or, oh, this is safe and effective. They're like too quick to affirm something as this way and call us conspiracy theorists before, in my mind, there's any real proof. Time to have proof about what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. And, just to make that point that you just made about the, whatever, Derek Chauvin or January 6th, or it's kind of similar to, not to bring up on Jesse's show, but that last clip that we played of the woman and her husband.
Explain what went down there?
Yeah, so this man and this woman looked like they were walking by some people that were on the street, and the guy looked like he was like telling her, hey, I need to take your purse and protect, just in case anything might happen here. And she goes and tells the people, hey, he's racially profiling you guys. He's saying that you're gonna steal and calling you names. And Francisco made a good point saying that you could tell that wasn't the first time that he was weak to her in that moment.
Yeah.
It was years probably potentially for it to get to that place. So I'm just saying, in that way, we've allowed so many years of different things like maybe the Derek Chauvin or like January 6th or the weakening of men, the whole race thing, everything, that now it's out of control.
Yeah, and it feels so hateful for somebody, or it feels hateful to them, for somebody to stand up and tell the truth. They think Jesse's hateful.
Yep.
They think Nick Fuentes and these other guys who are white, or purported partly white, who tell the truth about what's going on with the races and stuff like that. It sounds so hateful, anti-Semitic and all that stuff. And they're just talking like normal people, really.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, it's so, there's been no vacuum of no truth, that when some truth comes in, everybody overreacts like crazy.
Yeah.
It's shameful.
It's unbelievable to that, like how the Bible
and women
says,
running the show, and men feebly trying to stand up and tell the truth.
Yeah. Like the Bible says, woe to the man who calls bad good and good bad. So
woe to America, the American establishment. Anyway, man, terrible. Thank you, Hassan.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it, man.
Thank you.
Happy January 6th to you.
Yes, sir.
Let me get to Frederick in California. Speaking of January 6th, Frederick in California, you're on the line. How are you doing?
Good morning, Hank. How are you?
Doing fine. You know it's Hake, not Hank, right?
I say Hake. Hake.
Okay.
I say Hake every time.
Okay.
With a K.
Nice.
I got a southern accent a little bit.
No problem. I don't mind
All
Hank
right.
either, but some people think it's Hank, and if they search for the Hank report, they're not going to find me because it's H-A-K-E.
Hake.
Yeah.
H-A-K-E.
Yeah.
That's how I pronounce
I like
it.
Hank too, though.
No, I never say Hank.
Okay.
It might sound like it, but it's Hake.
Right on.
Yeah. January 6th. Happy January 6th to you.
Thank you, man. Happy January 6th to you as well. Were you in support
All
of
right,
the
be safe.
patriotic, mostly peaceful Capitol protesters? The peaceful
Man,
ones.
I don't know.
I wasn't in
I think
support
they
of the
said
people
president
moshing
right
with the
now.
cops. I wasn't in support of people breaking the windows or goofing off, clowning around with a podium and all that stuff.
What about the pride issue?
Pride?
Yeah.
You mean like false pride in your country and stuff like that? Putting the country
no, I'm
as
like,
God?
Once
Was
they
it?
got up there, once they got to the doors, they was too prideful to turn around and walk away. I think they was like, go. They was getting pushed in, and it was peer pressure. Like,
Interesting.
I can't walk back through this crowd. I got to go in. I'm up here now.
There may well have been some of that going on. People are weak.
Point of no return. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Interesting.
And they just crowd them in like sheep and then charge them all. But
Yeah.
if, in the future, if blacks do it, how much time do they need? 2 years?
If blacks do it, and they're on the wrong side, they'll get away with it. If blacks do it and they're on the right side, they will get persecuted. But blacks who, women did that. Well, I don't know if they broke windows, but the women protested, the feminists, including probably some male feminists, protested they interrupted the proceeding of Brett Kavanaugh, who was going to be Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court, or he was Trump's nominee.
All in the hallways trying to lay
and
down
they disrupted it.
Out.
They disrupted where any of them charged.
White women.
You may have even have accused them of trespassing. Those weren't normal white women. Aren't the main ones who support abortion and all that stuff. Normal white women
people in
are
charge of corralling them and locking them up know they have lawyers, so they real delicate with them. You know, black people don't have lawyers. They're going to get a public defender, throw their ass out, throw them in jail, lock them up.
Sorry,
see
kids.
What they call. But what I wanted to say on the January 6th issue is, yeah, they setting precedent and the world's watching, and the people in the higher up, the Federal Reserve, the real people running the government, they don't care about the Democrats and Republicans, like you said. They trying to protect their fake facade, and they're done with Trump. You know, they're not picking the speaker for a reason. They're trying to get the lobbyists to come over on their side so they can get the money. Them 20 is going against the Republicans. Watch the money.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That sort of went over my head, but
Whoopi,
I'm not saying that you may be onto something. I'm not sure, but that went over my head a bit. You lost me when you said the Federal Reserve picks what happens. I don't know if that's true. It may be true.
That's true.
I don't understand it, though. I don't understand how that works.
The Democrat and the Republican Party, they're going to back whoever backs their agenda. And right now, both parties are agreeing with money into Ukraine, whatever, on the Federal Reserve's agenda. I mean...
Bipartisan means evil, usually. Bipartisan doesn't mean it's reasonable people working together. No, it's evil people working together.
No, we can do a reset. We just have to get the people that's in office out of office with more politicians running on... We're going to discover the truth about this religion. And Jewish people cannot cry discrimination over words. What happened to freedom of speech?
I know. It's so crazy.
Freedom of speech.
It is so wild. I once used to say that some of the Muslims who are peaceful, but they're liberals, are more concerned with so-called Islamophobia than with terrorism that is disproportionately committed by the Muslims. And then the Jewish people, like even Ben Shapiro, whom I like, seems more concerned with so-called anti-Semitism of people like Kanye than with the evil that Kanye is pointing out from many Jewish people. So it's like
the telecommunications system makes you see and believe what they want you to see and believe. Whoopi Goldberg ain't gonna go for it. She done apologize twice, but she's got money, and she's one of those black women that don't like apologizing.
Yeah.
So she's gonna do her due diligence.
What does that mean? What's that mean? Whoopi Goldberg will do her due diligence. You said that she apologized twice. She apologized twice to the Jewish people or something?
Yes, because she called them a race. She said they're not a race. When she thinks of race.
Oh, I vaguely remember something like that.
Color.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she said something about the Jews, and they called her racist. Said, how is it racist when Jews don't refer to color? And she still went back and walked it back, but then she went back on her and followed up what she was saying, trying to clarify it, making more sense. and they jumped on her again. So I was just like, wow, okay, I see where this is going.
So what is her due
but
diligence?
At the same time, it's not getting any better right now because people are not waking up. That's just like you saying, or black people steal. Did you know theft, car theft, and burglary all combined into billions of dollars? But wage theft from corporate America is more than all three of those combined, and nobody gets locked up or say a word about it.
You said
Employees stealing from the workers.
Oh.
15.1 billion.
Employers.
Never talked about
employers stealing from their workers?
Yes.
I had not heard that, but that's an interesting point. There is a lot of white collar crime, as they call it, right? Or big time crime that is very destructive as well. Not to excuse
people don't even look at their paychecks and it be short. I mean, you got to actually go into human resources and ask them who's in charge of these companies and human resources that's overcharging their workers $15.1 billion, more than all theft combined in America, and no one's talking about it. Nobody's getting fired.
But all the theft in America is also bringing America down, because it's like you're also creating an opportunity cost to the community, because every time there's a theft, or when the more there are normal blue collar thefts, if you will.
But what I'm saying is maybe they're stealing because the workers are stealing from their check.
But one wrong doesn't justify
not even breaking even from what they're stealing.
I doubt that that's what's happening. But even if that were happening, one wrong doesn't justify another, because you're only causing the community around you.
If you only focus on one, you're going to lock them up.
I know, but let me finish.
More money.
I know, but let me finish. I get your point about we're only focusing on like the one that's in our face, because you see when a car's gone. You don't see necessarily when money's gone from a company. So I get your point about that. I'm not discounting that.
And once they lock you up, they're going to get the money from the white man to pay for the taxes to build prisons. You can pay a fine.
But hold on, man. Let me finish my point, because you keep on interrupting me.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your point.
When there's theft in a community, that community's businesses don't do well because they don't want to be doing business in that community, or the people don't feel safe in that community. So you're making, not only is the person who lost that car out his car, but also the community is affected by the cumulative crime climate of that blue collar crime. You disagree with that?
Yes, because every store that opens in a black neighborhood has a higher premium on their insurance, and they charge more for the groceries in that store, putting the price on the consumer. So if anything gets stolen at the end of the year, they can file and take a loss and get paid back, reimbursed for theft. So that's not hurting them. The company's stealing money out of
No, I'm not talking about it's hurting the business. I didn't say, I'm saying those, well, you said car theft, which is more than just businesses getting
car
stuff
theft,
stolen.
Regular theft, shoplifting, and burglary. Every time someone's not home, all of those three combined don't equal up to wage theft. So the money you taking out of the people that live.
No, I don't care about.
Areas,
we're talking about something completely different, man. I'm talking about the state of the community. The community is a mess, and you're pretending that it's all fine because they get reimbursed by insurance companies allegedly. I doubt that.
The community's a mess. True.
Yeah. See, I told you. That's what I'm telling you. Is the community is suffering as a result, and the people who are stealing are not really getting away with it either. They're living horrible lives.
People are suffering because of wage theft in the community.
Which is one worse than the other?
If one racked up, like if one is 3 times as much as the other, I believe yes, one's worse than the other.
No, man, it's all the same, because the more you have that culture of theft, the more of a communist country you have. You don't have a high trust society.
High trust society.
High trust society.
You don't have a high trust society when you have banks charging you overdraft fees because the company you work for shorted you on your
Complain,
check and your bills.
complain all you want
It's
about
good.
complain all you want about the banks. It doesn't excuse that the blacks are not creating a high trust society by having a high theft by excusing the theft. Are you excusing the theft of the blacks and the Hispanics and the
I don't
Armenians
even say
and
blacks
whoever
commit-
else is doing that?
I don't even say blacks commit half of the theft.
No, I'm talking
But
about
I'm
are you
just saying-
excusing the theft?
No, I'm just.
Then
saying
why are
we
you
need to
trying to
focus
compare
on
it
all
and-
the theft.
Why are you trying to compare it?
I'm not. I'm saying.
Yeah,
Focus
you
on
are. You
all the
literally
theft.
trying to compare it.
Yeah, I'm trying to compare it because
So why?
one says, on one half, a community gets locked up. You have to pay taxes. They come out with a worse record, and they can't get a job, and it messes up the whole community over theft stuff.
It's their fault.
True enough. You got to
Okay.
do the time for the crime.
Yeah.
Right. But the wage gap and disparity from 71 to today hasn't changed between whites and blacks. I
Whose
feel
fault
like
is that?
It's y'all's fault. Who raised
Who
these black
it's
Americans?
whites' fault?
Who raised these black Americans?
Their mothers?
No. White people in slavery raised these black Americans.
No, white
Y'all
people
taught
in
us how to
slavery
talk. Y'all taught
raised
us how to
upstanding blacks.
act.
They were
Who
yeah,
raised
they had
these people?
they had a large criminal element even back then, I guess, but not as out of
What?
control as today. They didn't used to be
What?
committing
They
crimes
were
like this,
animals.
man.
They weren't even citizens. How can you be a criminal and not a citizen?
They were
You
not
gotta live by the laws
they were
of the
not
land if
criminals.
you're a citizen.
The blacks were not, you need to read The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood by Jesse Lee Peterson. Because
Victimhood. That's what makes compassion. That's why Jesus had to die. That's why the Jews was holocausted. That's why the South plays victim. That's why everybody.
and that's what we need to heal from.
compassion from. Huh?
Victims become perpetrators. You don't want to be victims.
No, victim is a sacrifice to God. That's what Jesus was. There used to be
So you
animals,
think the
anytime
blacks
the
who
people-
feel like they're victims, they're sacrifices to God?
I believe they believe their ancestors were.
No, man, they were not sacrifices at all. They were slaves. Slaves are not sacrifices.
Sometimes God puts you through the fire to make nice what they call it?
Diamonds.
No, it's pressure.
Pressure. He knows better than me. You're educated.
Yeah.
I
But you
don't
know what
know.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all gonna work out. Y'all feeling like y'all losing America because the people that's in charge at January 6th or the majority of the white men that's in charge, they can't play victim because they are in power. If they really wanted to overthrow their capital, they should have came with all of their forces.
Whites are not in
just a
charge of their
small
country.
majority.
Anyway, Frederick, thanks, man. We've gone on quite long. Happy
okay.
Happy
Yeah.
Epiphany to you. Do you celebrate Epiphany?
No.
Okay, because you're
I don't
Mayat.
celebrate it. Yeah, Semitic. It's coming out. I'm glad you know. Because
All right.
you said something today about Paulinism. And I was thinking that total depravity and original sin that we're born in, that, like, why would people do good if they think that they're already born as devil's children?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, you have a good day, Hake.
All right, you too, Frederick. That was Frederick in California. Terrible. Before I get back to calls, hang tight, callers. My goodness, I want to cover this dirty Hollywood money. I have this picture. It's a screenshot from Romeo and Juliet. I forget what I called it. It's this lame, well, I don't know if it's lame, but these guys, look at them. These are two movie stars, and those guys are young people. They're minors. They're under 18. I think in this photograph, this black and white still photo of 1968 movie Romeo and Juliet, they're suing Paramount over nude scenes that were filmed when they were minors. I guess it was different times back then, huh? Interesting. But those are 15 and 16 years old, those two young man and young lady, or boy and girl. Commie Nonsense Network reported $500 million. That's how much two actors, an actor and an actress, Olivia Hussey Hussy, get it? Anyway, and Leonard Whiting are seeking from Paramount Studios for allowing the 1968 film Romeo and Juliet to be released with scenes showing them naked when they were minors, according to a lawsuit filed last week. They were 15 and 16 at the time. There was an intimate scene featuring images of their naked bodies. What, they weren't there when they did it? They were there when they did it. They agreed to do it. I mean, granted, they were 15 and 16, but I remember when I was 15 and 16 in high school, I wouldn't have gotten naked. Maybe they grew up in a different, more degenerate Hollywood culture, even back in the 60s, huh? Who knows? Are these guys Christians? I don't know. They look like they could be normal. The guy looks like he could be a normal white. I don't know. Leonard Whiting, Olivia Hussey. They the intimate scene featuring images of their so-called nude bodies, I call it naked, has caused them mental anguish and emotional distress in the 55 years since its release. Well, now you're going to be even more embarrassed because now we all know about it. I didn't even know about this. If I had seen, well, I haven't seen pictures of these guys since then, so I won't recognize them. And I haven't watched this movie. I don't plan to. Blame your parents for letting you, right? They were accusing Paramount Studios of sexual exploitation and distributing naked images of adolescent children. The complaint alleges the film's director, Franco Zeffirelli, 2 F's, 1 R, double L, Zeffirelli, who died in 2019 and is not named as a defendant in this lawsuit, assured the actors there would be no nudity. So he lied to them, according to them, according to this lawsuit. How many, 55 years later, what in the world? And they would be able to wear flesh-colored undergarments during the bedroom/love scene. That's a quote from the complaint. Zeffirelli supposedly said they must act in the nude or the picture would fail. So they agreed to it. They're both in their 70s now. Talk about a lack of dignity. And claim they've missed out on job opportunities since. So they want $500 million. Their manager complained there was no Me Too back then. That's a good thing. Have some dignity. Now you're calling attention to it. Gross. What's up with the boomers? If you're in your 70s, most of the time you're a boomer, right? Still? So that's an interesting story. Sort of. Here's another guy. Flash forward to present day, another teenager, 18-year-old, another effeminate male. This is even worse than that one, maybe. Declares a false identity. I mentioned this in Hake News. Will he sue the world down the road for violating his innocence? Or will he sue his parents? Because it started with his parents. From Commie Nonsense Network today. Stranger Things star. Stranger Things, I guess, is a TV show or something? Noah Schnapp. 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 Says, surprise, he identifies as gay. The actor has revealed he shares more similarities with his on-screen character, Will Byers, who is another gay, supposedly, than he previously thought. I don't get what that point is. But the top story is Stranger Things star Noah Schnapp comes out as gay on TikTok, which is a Chinese social media platform that I'm not active on. So here's from Variety. Noah Schnapp, who plays the closeted so-called gay teenager Will Byers on Netflix's Stranger Things. Netflix. Disgusting. Netflix hates white people, America, Law and Order. They love Black Lives Matter. They're the scum of the earth, Netflix. At least their CEO and his wife. In a video posted to his TikTok account Thursday, the 18-year-old actor wrote, quote, "When I finally told my friends and family that I was gay after being scared in the closet for 18 years." Wait a minute, he's 18 years old? He was scared in the closet for 18 years? He was a baby? He was scared as a baby? Doesn't make sense to me. Liar. Fake news. We need a fact check. And all they said was, we know. Well, I mean, look at him. He doesn't look too morally straight to me. He doesn't look very masculine. They made him effeminate. He comes from an effeminate culture, though. Cut him some slack. He does come from an effeminate culture, not a normal white. I'll explain later. He's you know that it... Wait a minute. Oh, never mind. He said something like, it was never that serious. In the caption of his TikTok video, he said, I guess I'm more similar to Will than I thought, whatever that means. So according to Wikipedia early life check, Schnapp, Noah Schnapp, 18 years old, just a tender age of 18, was born in New York City, of course, to Mitchell and Karine Schnapp, who was born Perez. But that's not a Hispanic last name, apparently. He was raised in Scarsdale, New York. Schnapp is Jewish, not a Christian, and had his bar mitzvah in Israel. That's when he turned 12 and he became a man. And then at 18, he came out of the closet and became a woman. not a transgender woman, anyway, evil. He has a twin sister. So are they fraternal twins or are they identical twins? I'm just kidding. If you have a twin sister and you're a boy or a young man, you can't be identical, can you? Anyway, he holds both U.S. and Canadian citizenship. Oh, terrible. Just like that young man. Anyway, his father is of Russian Jewish descent, while his mother is Moroccan Jewish ancestry. So Moroccans, I guess, can be called Perez as well. Perez. Is that a biblical name too? Because I know it's a Hispanic last name. I thought it was a Hispanic last name. But yeah, that culture is woman-oriented. That's why they're a bunch of liberals, I gather. I've learned. That's what I've learned over time. One more. Oh, no, I don't have time for one more actor. I was going to talk about a perhaps slightly more morally straight actor, Edward Norton. But I guess that'll have to wait, and I have to get to calls and stuff. And it's almost the top of the hour. And I don't know, I have to get to this immigration thing. Maybe I'll have to skip the Skims report. Because I want to talk about Skim, and I also want to talk about Federale, fifthcolumnist.wordpress.com. Interesting source I've come across. I think I learned about him on via Asmodor's TKR Official, another history and present day news source that I sometimes refer to. But now is time for some Christmas music, guys. Yes, Amy Grant, the queen of CCM, contemporary Christian music. Breath of Heaven, Mary's song. Enjoy, guys. Or gals, anyway. Gals will enjoy it. I like this song. And we'll be right back for hour 2. Hang tight. You may have to turn it up. I don't know.
Many moonless nights, cold and weary, with a babe inside, and I wonder what I've done. Holy Father, you have come and chosen carry your son. I am waiting in a silent prayer. I am frightened by the load I bear in a world as cold as Must you watch my face? If a wiser one should have had my place, but I offer all I am for the mercy of your plan. Help me be strong. Help me be. Help me. Breath of heaven, hold me together. Be forever near me. Breath of heaven. Breath of heaven, lighten my darkness. Pour over me your holiness, for you are holy.
Isn't this nice?
Breath of heaven, hold me together. Be forever near me. Breath of heaven.
Amy Grant.
Breath of heaven, lighten my darkness. Pour over me your holiness, for you are holy. Breath of heaven.
Nick and Hake playlist. Huge difference. Says Jose. Well, thank you, Amy Grant. It's a Christmas song. Music. No, please, no. No, I appreciate it. One of the church young ladies used to sing this song every Christmas at the church I used to go to a lot. Over in SGV, San Gabriel Valley. Press mute. Never listen to Hake's devilish music. It comes from the dumpster of the Satanic Temple, and you will burn in hell, says Nugget Man. Traveling a moonless night when were not any headlights seems dangerous, says DJ on Paul. Baby, baby. That was another one of her more crossover, secular-friendly songs. Limbo Drones, 4 FPV noobs, says. Slit your wrists tunes. No. Hake's playlist needs to go to the gym. This song is turning the freaking frogs gay. Sorry, kids. I like that song too, Hake. Thank you, Paul Rao. I wish this was Hake singing, says MR Jennings. Muted but still here, says Kilo Alpha 1. I've always liked Amy Grant. Secretly an Amy Grant fan is Kevin Howe. It explains a lot. Before I get back to calls and stories, I want to provide a fact check from our Odyssey chat, odyssee.com/@ the Hake Report /live. My caller last hour, Frederick from California, was seemingly downplaying black crime and other criminals who were stealing cars and merchandise and shoplifting and all that mess. Taking care of business states. Black people don't have lawyers? That's BS. Bogus speech. Everything is anti-Semitism to Ben Shapiro. He says. I cannot confirm nor deny. They have a higher premium and price of goods because of the crime. You dum-dum? Crime directly affects prices. Yeah, think about it. Frederick of California. They act like, oh, they have insurance. Bogus speech, BS. Doesn't come with a cost to the company or individual. They have to pay deductible for every instance. Why would they open a business when it's consistently costing them money? Of course, they'd increase prices if their businesses are consistently being robbed and otherwise stolen from, and threats to their lives and other things. They need to offset the expenses of being stolen from. Yeah, and it's not business friendly. High crime areas are not business friendly. And high rent areas too, by the way. There's like a lot of empty businesses ever since the China virus communist shutdowns and crime, Black Lives Matter crime, and other things. They have public defenders, Hake. I know. Terrible. What a mess. So thank you for the voice of reason. Sometimes these young black whippersnappers, 46-year-old or however old, just say stuff willy-nilly, and it's hard to fact-check everything. Terrible. Anyway. Oh, a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report about that 18-year-old not morally straight guy, not a Christian. Lord Bibby42 states, Noah Schnapp has played a gay character for more than 1/3 of his life, from age 12 to present, through puberty years, where the mind is easily taken advantage of. Ask him to sit on... Oh, God. I disavow this phrase. Anderson Cooper or Mark Ruffalo's lap. Lord, baby, 42. Have mercy. If he sits, then that confirms it. Confirms what? I don't want to ask. I don't want to know. Terrible. But thank you. Appreciate the support, man. By the way, Based America First with the super chat says, Joebama. And Art from Ohio called him O Biden. And I call him Sleepy Joe. Who said we're not in a recession, traveled to Kentucky on Wednesday and said, think about why the recession got so bad 2 years ago. Perhaps recession started with him shutting down Keystone XL? P.S. I think your super chats are caught up. Yeah, I think so too, man. Yes. Hake finally caught up with the super chats. Yes, I think I did. Nice. Right on. I was out for months. 3 surgeries. But I'm back in 2023. What a mess. Let me get to Giuseppe in Texas. I think that's the name of his first name. Giuseppe, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Absolutely. Happy New Year, Brother Jake.
Thank you.
Oh,
Happy New Year
Brother
to
Hake,
you.
sorry.
No
I have
worries.
a dear friend of mine whose name is Jake. I always think of him.
Yeah, people call me Jake. People who've known me for years call me Jake sometimes because James and Hake.
It's easier to the tongue than Hake.
Yeah, they even type it. Funny enough.
Oh, no.
Well, the J is right
not
next to the H, so it's understandable too.
Yeah. You're giving them an excuse.
Yeah. Typical white.
Yes. Hake the Great. So, Hake, full disclosure. Okay, so I want to offer some, not criticism, but my observation
All right.
of the work over the past years, because I've been, you know that I've been calling you, I think, from when you started.
Wow.
So, yes, full disclosure, I'm a fan of the show, both obviously Jesse's and yours, and I've donated to Bond, the whole 9 yards. So anything I'm going to say, it really does come out of first being a fan, and
All right.
then, okay, my 2 cents. Okay, so when you're doing the news, right, the Hake Hour, the Hake Report on Jesse's show,
Okay.
or even sometimes between your guests and callers, right? To me, those moments are you, in my opinion, at your best. It's like the joke that you just made a few minutes ago with the Jewish kid. So he's born a guy, he gets a bar mitzvah, and now he's a woman. There's stuff that you say, under your breath, to the side, the throwaways, in comedy they call that a throwaway. Your throwaways are great, and you seem really comfortable doing that. And to me, as an observer, I go, wow, he really excels at that. So why not narrow your focus to 6 minutes, 5 minutes hits of content and run with it that way. See if there's money in just that small hit of content.
Interesting.
I don't know how digital market. I don't know anything about the money or the business. I'm just saying that, or even if you wanted to extend it a little bit longer, you could do it. It'd be like news updates a la Hake. And that style I have not seen. Plus, you're sincere. You look comfortable when you're doing that. I think I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Or even I was thinking as I was waiting for you, I was like, well, why can't he do a news program that's targeted to kids? and have fun with that. Yeah, because they need somebody to introduce them to politics, but from a Christian perspective, if you will. Like, don't get angry, but by the way, it looks like this is going on in the world or whatever. I don't know. So that's my 2 cents. Happy New Year. Your thoughts.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You know, I have one of my interns, if you want to call him or her that,
doing well.
Doing a... and it's unpaid, totally unpaid.
Even better.
Set it up so that I could create clips from my show much more easily. And so I take an extra, maybe an hour or less, and go through and cut out clips from my show, and it just takes just not long at all to publish them. And so I publish the file, and then I upload them to YouTube, and so I have a backlog of little clips, some littler than others, and so maybe I could use clips from my longer show to serve that purpose. Maybe.
I'm saying to set out with that intention. That's the content that you're creating. Boom, 5 minutes or whatever it is, 5-6 minutes on these three events of the day or this topic, whatever.
Interesting, man. I appreciate it.
But basically reduce all the fat. Get rid of the callers and all. Just reduce it. Just give them 6 minutes of what you do great.
All right. Well, thank you for the suggestion. I shall consider it. I don't know if I'm gonna end my show. I don't think that I would. I don't think I would necessarily do that, but it is.
I'm not saying that. But if I'm gonna cook, I'm gonna make them a lot of what I make great, and then I might do some other stuff. But
other people in the chat are like begging for callers sometimes. So there's, you know what I mean?
Yes. The walk of the entrepreneur is difficult. But God bless you.
And also, I like to mix it up with various different things. But thank you, Giuseppe.
You're welcome. Say hello to everybody. Happy New Year. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
You too, man. Nice guy. Okay. Let me get to this. I almost said Mark Wahlberg. Edward Norton, American history actor. I guess introduced to him from American History X, which I didn't really like that movie. He said some stuff that was true in that movie. You know what this means? Not welcome. Funny. This is from Comedy Nonsense Network, Thursday, the 5th of January, 2023 AD. Edward Norton discovers that Pocahontas, not Elizabeth Warren, is his 12th great-grandmother. The Oscar-nominated actor, grew up hearing a long-standing family rumor, not reunion, that he was related to the real-life Pocahontas. He recently confirmed it to be fact on an episode of PBS show Finding Your Roots. That's with that Henry Louis Gates Jr. thug from like Harvard University or somewhere. You know, the one who felt like he was racially profiled by that cop during the Obama administration, and Obama said the cops acted stupidly. Some of you guys may not remember that story, but then they had like a beer summit and invited the cop, and it was pretending like it was racially profiled, but you know he looked like he was breaking into his own house. Henry Louis Gates, he's black, and he finds people who are descendants of slave owners or descendants of slaves, and Edward Norton was a descendant of Pocahontas, 12th great-grandmother. I think they also found out, according to this black professor thug, I call him a thug, Henry Louis Gates Jr., that he was also a descendant of it. He had an ancestor who owned a family of slaves. A family of slaves. See that? Edward Norton learned that Pocahontas is his 12th great-grandmother and that another ancestor owned a family of slaves. I thought that slavery broke up most families. Nope, not true. I heard that most families were stuck together. I don't want to say it's absolutely not true. Maybe it's not most families were kept together. But I heard that the slaves were kept together as families, at least when they're like young kids or whatever. I'm not sure. At relatively young age, a boy becomes a man, right? You ever heard of a bar mitzvah? Or even younger. And then they can get sold away, you know? But anyway, a family of slaves. Interesting, huh? Edward Norton. Is he an anti-white actor? So he's part Indian, American Indian. Pocahontas married John, is it John Smith or John Rolfe? Way back in 1614 in Jamestown, Virginia. I watched the movie Pocahontas as not that young of a kid. My mother made me watch it with my little brother. I guess I was in high school. There's Pocahontas. Looks a little bit like Elizabeth Warren, I suppose. Not really. 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth. What's good about her? I don't remember. The only thing I remember from that movie of note is when you shoot, you should shoot with both eyes open. When you shoot your musket. Oh, I'm pulling a Joe Biden, pretending I'm holding a shotgun. Joe Biden said, "Get a shotgun. Get a shotgun. And if somebody's breaking in, fire 2 rounds in the air. Not rounds. 2 shots in the air, something like that. 2 slugs in the air. Not slugs." Elizabeth Warren was called Pocahontas by our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, because she thought that she was Indian, American Indian. I say Indian to distinguish them from Indian. And people say that it's a slur. I say it's not a slur. So I'm not saying it slurringly, even though literally it is slurring, I guess. Because a lot of Canadians like Nick Stream, I don't know if he's Canadian, think I'm talking about India Indians. No, I'm talking about American Indians. People say Native Americans. I'm Native American. Native American is not American Indian. Elizabeth Warren was 1/10,299th part per Pocahontas. Crypto hater. Let's see. Pocahontas welcomed English settlers to the current day U.S. So she was not genocided. Was that American Indian genocide, or was that white genocide when she married John Rolfe? Interracial. Anyway, this show found that Norton's 3rd great-grandfather, John Winstead, owned a family of slaves, including a 55-year-old man, a 37-year-old woman, and 5 young girls, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10. He expressed that part of history didn't sit well with him. Edward Norton is 53. Be proud, man. Be proud of your slave-owning ancestor. It's not a judgment on you or your own life, but it's a judgment on history of this country, and it needs to be acknowledged first and foremost, and then it needs to be contended with, says sleazy... Who said that? Henry Louis Gates said that? I don't know. Oh, no, maybe Edward Norton himself said that. You don't have to judge the slave owners. Give me a break, please. What kind of slave owners were they? Were they upstanding slave owners, Christian slave owners, or were they unchristian slave owners? I heard that there were unchristian slave owners. I'm not sure. When you read slave aged 8, you just want to die, said Edward Norton. Where's my spittoon? Let me get it. Edward Norton, this is for you. 2. That wasn't a very convincing spit, was it? So, please. Ridiculous. Anyway, he's not the only weak. I put WH in weak. He's not the only weak white. Is he weak? Or is he just talking? He's not the only weak white, though, Edward Norton. No, there are princes who are weak. Prince just kind of sounds weak nowadays, you know. Weak quote from Prince Harry from Tuesday of this week, and then I will get to callers, guys. Call Me Nonsense Network, CNN reports Tuesday, the 3rd of January of this year, 2023 AD. Quote, I want a family, not an institution. That's Prince Harry. Is he even Prince anymore? I thought he stepped down. Airing his grievances about the British royal family in a new interview clip released Monday from British network ITV. After making headlines, I grabbed my spittoon again, for their Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, because they love the interracial marriage between Harry and this half-black, so-called American, anti-American female named Meghan Markle, who's mildly attractive, perhaps even more than mildly attractive. But she's about my age. Did you know that? What are the chances? Anyway, the new clip shows the pair is expected to share even more details about their decision to step back from their royal duties. Then they should be stripped of their royal titles. Harry, go back to being just Harry. And Meghan Markle, Duke and Duchess of Sussex. More like Prince Tattletale. Call Me Nonsense Network reported yesterday. Prince Harry alleges his brother William, Prince William to you, that's Mr. Prince William to you, physically attacked him, according to the far-left, female-oriented outlet The Guardian. Not very Christian either. In fact, outright anti-Christian, The Guardian. Back to spit. A new book seen by The Guardian apparently has shocking details on the brothers' royal rift. This far-left females at the Skim reported today, Prince Harry, today's Friday the 6th of January. Happy January 6th, guys. Happy Epiphany, happy Orthodox Christmas, or Merry Orthodox Christmas. And pray for the patriotic protesters, persecuted Americans who wanted their country's integrity preserved. But instead, they got smeared. And they kind of brought it on themselves, but still, yeah. Prince Harry, according to the far-left females at the Skim, The Guardian yesterday shared details from the royal's upcoming memoir, Spare. Why is it called Spare? Don't know. Some of the bombshell allegations that his older brother, Prince William, knocked him to the floor during a fight over Meghan Markle. Oh, so it was a fight. It's not physically attacked him. Well, who knows? And that William and Kate told Harry to wear the 2005 Nazi costume. I vaguely remember something to that effect. Prince Harry used to be based. No, I'm kidding. But he wore a Nazi costume in 2005. What, for Halloween or something? No comment yet from Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace. So Prince Tattletale, being weak and cowardly, pathetic. Tattletale. You don't have a family now. You're just making it into an institution because you're just gossiping like a tattletale to the mainstream media and your little book, along with your so-called wife, about your brother and stuff, throwing him under the bus. They used to get along so well. They used to be like rebels. 2. It's the real Mr. Mad said, Hake needs to flick the spittoon with his finger when he pretends to spit in it so that the spit sounds like it's impacting. 2. That wasn't very convincing. 2. Ouch. All right. My finger's tougher than that. Let's get to William in California. Been on hold forever. On the line. William, thanks for calling and holding. How you doing? Hey.
Hey, man. Happy New Year's to you.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
You too.
Hey, I just wanted to drop some knowledge on how they like to hold on to so many things. But January 6th was not as big a deal as they try to make out, because it's right there in the First Amendment. You have a right to assemble.
Yeah.
And redress grievances with the government. You have a right to do that. They didn't have a right to tear things up.
Right.
So talking about January 6th, it's over. You're not going to stick it to Trump. And there's some other stuff floating around. I don't know if this is going to happen, James, but a former president can be Speaker of the House and does not have to be part of the House of Representatives.
I've heard that. Yeah. Do you think it would? Do you think Trump would even be interested in that? Has he said a word about it?
I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know. He may not do that, but he can do it. That's what they're scrambling around and so nervous about right now.
Oh.
Because it's over. It's January.
Interesting.
And for your little caller who called about the black neighborhood being charged more, first of all, you have to know how much insurance is in high crime areas.
Yeah.
And that is not the white man's fault. They're bringing their lily white businesses to your neighborhoods, and you're stealing everything, and that's all it is to it. And just guy sounds a little bit too old to not know that.
Yeah. Yep. He did bring up.
Somebody says they don't want to live next door to me because I'm black. What can I might sit up there and go, "Oh, that's racist." Yeah, it might be, but what can you do about it?
Yeah, and it's people have the right to be that way, and
if
you can understand
racist,
it.
They can be racist. What can you do about it? You can't do anything about that.
And you can understand it given how the blacks been acting. So
I don't want to live next to them.
Yeah.
I don't want to live next to them.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about it if somebody doesn't want to live next to you guys.
Yeah, have some love. Love means letting go.
No, they claim that's racist. Oh, well, if it is, what can you do about it?
Yeah. Yep.
Nothing. You can't do anything about it.
You shouldn't, definitely. You're only spreading spreading
First
resentment.
Amendment right there. What they were doing that day, they had a right to do that. They had a right to assemble. They just didn't have a right to just tear up stuff. That's all they're really in. They're in jail for tearing up stuff. There was no terrorist actor. It's stop holding on to it. It's not going to happen. The Teflon Don is nothing going to stick to him. You didn't succeed once again, and all this was to try to keep him from running again.
Yeah. You know, it's so ridiculous. They drummed up or trumped up charges, no pun intended, against like some of these 3%ers or I forget who, Oath Keepers, to try to call it seditious conspiracy.
No, it was not. It's vandalism.
But I think they got I don't know if they might have gotten convictions on those things. That's how bad the kangaroo courts are now.
They did, and you got about 14 months of this administration left, and a lot of them will probably get pardoned.
You think it's a one-term presidency?
Absolutely. This is
we'll see.
Terrible. This is terrible. All of this gay stuff.
Yeah.
I don't see how you guys put up with that. I don't see how blacks. How can you be a Democrat? It doesn't support anything, but everything gay is gay, and that's all. You guys support that? What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah, they think that they fall for the love is love. It's not love.
Oh, man, and
it's
they
not
want
love.
so much free stuff. They want this. They want that. Oh, and slavery. You had nothing to do with slavery. Stop it.
I know.
You
and
never
slavery
met anybody who was in the Klan. You never met one Klanman. You never seen you don't know anything about that stuff.
Yeah.
People need to stop lying.
Well, I appreciate it, William. It's great to hear from you, man.
All right, man. You take it easy.
You as well. Let me get to Brian in North Carolina on the line. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Hake. How are you doing?
Doing fine, too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's nice to hear William's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has a commanding voice, man. It sounds like something from above is talking to you.
I know.
Yeah. But I don't mean to beat up on Frederick anymore, but I called because he was talking about some stuff that just didn't make sense with black people being charged more and insurance companies and stuff. But I know someone who did a theft protection for a big department store. And he told me that the company loses probably about $500,000, I think he said, during a specific 3 months of the year, just off people stealing.
Wow.
And he said the company, they can't do anything about it. They have to let it slide because of the specific group that does like 90% of the stealing, pretty much most of the stealing, which happens to be women. And isn't that amazing?
Whoa. You know what? I believe that. I totally believe that. I can picture women stealing. Oh,
it's a
my
direct
gosh.
reflection of everything, man. It's like you can't hold the women accountable because they are your consumers. And so you just have to let it slide in order for you to hang on and hold on to your little company.
That is terrible.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That is painful. Painful reality.
But they let it slide. It's
of
the same
all
thing
races,
that's happening
right?
with America, though.
Yeah. Of all races?
I don't know the specifics.
I bet
of
the
it.
breakdowns are disproportionate in certain ways that are predictable, but even
Well,
still,
he
I think
told
women
me-
are more likely. I wonder if women are more likely to steal than men. I can just.
Well,
Go ahead.
Let me give you another detail. He told me this. It's even more specific as to where most of that money is, what department of the store most of that money is stolen from, which happens to be, and the time of the year it happens is during the summer, and what's stolen the most is bikinis and swimwear.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're probably easy to steal because women have these purses and things like that, and other bags. They come in with other bags, and there's.
Well, especially the bikinis, because they can go in the dressing room and just put it on like underwear.
Oh, true. Hadn't thought of that. Man, what a mess.
Yeah.
Very dishonest, those ladies, aren't they?
Man, oh my goodness. And you know what's crazy is like they don't even realize how ridiculous they look.
What do you mean by that?
Just they don't know. It's almost like sometimes they don't know that they're being dishonest.
Oh yeah. No,
But
yeah, they
just-
don't. They
well, no, they know.
they
Hold on
know,
now.
but sometimes I think that they don't. It's kind of like what Kanye West said. I call him Kanye West. He calls himself Ye. But he said about the Jewish people, and I love Jewish people, but he said that they've been getting away with this so long, they're used to getting away with it. They're not used to being called out on their stuff. So it's kind of like, I think, with what's going on with the women and their dishonesty.
I don't know, Hake, man, because the women. Okay, I understand what you mean when you say maybe they don't know, but they know. Let me tell you, they know. They know 100%. They know because the reason why I think that you believe, because I used to think the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, they don't really know, but it's just that they're running so fast from the truth that you it looks like they don't know because they're constantly moving. They look like they're out of control.
Yeah.
But if you just hold them there for a second to be accountable, you can see them trying to deceive you.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Are you, not to get too personal, if it's too personal, you skip it. Are you married?
All right.
Do you have a family of your own? Married?
I
Do you
don't,
have
man.
children? Okay.
I don't. I was married.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you know what you're talking about.
No, yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you're referring,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're including your ex-wife in this statement.
I have yet, let me tell you something, bro. I have yet to meet a woman that did not have this in her existence.
Yeah.
They're all like that, man.
Yeah, I guess that's why the women to the men, and the men getting exasperated with the women, and the women getting exasperated with the men, and them each having their different issues, and the women being so immoral and dishonest in certain ways, it gets to men, and the men get real angry about that because we don't like dishonesty. Kind of like, even though we too are dishonest in different ways, right? But kind of like the conservatives don't like being lied to, but the liberals love lying. And that gets the conservatives mad. It's kind of like the Democrats and the rhinos lie to the people, lie. And then the people get frustrated. And so there's no men of solidness who don't get angry at the liar, but just get angry. And then it's just a spirit of darkness over everybody. Follow what I'm saying?
Know. Yeah, I totally follow what you're saying. And I can, man, I totally relate to that 100% personally.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say I don't get angry anymore, especially when people are lying to me. Like, I can totally see that they don't know. Like, they can't see what I see.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so I don't get angry when they're lying to me. And even though, you know, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save, if I can, I want to save this point for JLP because I wanted to make it on his channel because he said something specific.
Yeah.
And I'm going to save it for that because it's a bigger point to all of that.
Right on, man. But that's cool. That's a nice report, if true. I wish you well, man. So you didn't have kids with your ex-wife then?
I did, yeah.
You did?
I have a daughter. Yeah, I have a daughter.
Okay.
She just turned 11 recently, actually.
Okay. Nice. Is she a little liar too already? Probably, right?
I wouldn't know, man. I'm exiled.
Oh, man. Well,
Yeah,
isn't that so often the way?
Say that again?
I said, isn't that so often the way?
Oh, man. I don't know what that means. What does that mean, often the way?
It's so often the way of the world that the men don't have access to their children. And the children don't have access to their father.
Yeah, man, that's the problem we've been having for a lifetime.
Yeah.
All of us. Didn't
used to be that way, I heard. Men used to get if in the rare case of divorce, and divorce was more rare back in the good old days, the man got the children. Not so anymore. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Okay.
I did know that. And I know that Jesse's right when he says it all happened around the civil rights movement, where all of that started to change.
Yeah.
I totally know that, man. I can see it within my family because my family was once a very Christian family, like as a whole, everybody. And we were a family. You could tell we were all one family. And it seems like ever since my mom was born, it's all been going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Terrible.
But, it's horrible, but I don't know how I feel. Can I ask you something? Because I laugh about a lot of things that, maybe sometimes I myself can see, like, that's not really funny.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I can't help, to laugh about it.
Go ahead.
Because there's something in it that's comical to me, and I think it's the truth. I know it's the truth, actually. And I'm correlating that to what I see. And I find it funny because I find it to be true.
Go ahead.
I don't know I don't 100% know if I'm right or wrong for that.
Oh. For laughing?
For like, I can't control, obviously I can't control laughter coming out of me. Or maybe I can. I don't know. I've never attempted to, I guess, but.
Okay. Oh, yeah, just watch yourself then. Watch yourself, because you may be fine and you may not be fine. So it's good to, as JLP said, keep your eyes on yourself. Because you don't want to be, nothing is serious, and you don't want to be overboard with that mess, because that is mess as well.
Well, and I agree with that, and that's why I'm constantly watching myself. It's like a muscle now that just works without me having to work it. To be honest.
Cool.
It just happens. Man. But I appreciate that advice. Right on, that's 100% right.
I look forward to hearing your call on the Jesse Lee Peterson show about
I will.
Man and wife type of stuff. That's cool.
Well, it was about something else, but that's
okay.
I appreciate it.
All right, cool, man. Take care, Brian.
You too, Hake. Take care.
Brian in North Carolina. Nice. So I have to plow through some things, guys. First, let's show this meme. I saw this meme on Twitter. connect to God. Password prayer. And it has like, okay, so this is like a, looks like a card that tells you how to connect to the internet. It has like a Wi-Fi type of signal, but the Wi-Fi is just above the cross, and it says connect to God. And it says the password is prayer. To me, it's so corny, but I just had to share it. Hake loves this stuff. I didn't grow up on this level of corniness, although some of you probably think that it is. You know, but anyway, to me, I think that is. But maybe it's deep. I can't see it, though. So speaking of prayer, the libs are praying for Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin, Commie Nonsense Network, CNN reported Thursday. This quote, like the rest of the nation, our thoughts and prayers are with him, his family, and his teammates. Praying to Satan, I say. Well, JLP says that. White House, the cute black, quote-unquote, lesbian press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, KJP, confirming that so-called sleepy President Joe Biden saw the horrific news of Damar Hamlin's cardiac arrest. I think that's called a heart attack, right? And spoke with Hamlin's mother and father, quote, at length, unquote. The 24-year-old Buffalo Bills safety, he's black. He looks like, not that that has anything to do with anything. Except he's probably, you know, anyway. Everybody loves to kiss up to the blacks. And I saw some report on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, but let me keep moving. It is an excellent report. I think that was yesterday. Oh, no, that was on Infowars.com. And Jesse Lee Peterson with Owen Schroyer, my competitor. Yeah. They called Skip Bayless evil for wondering something, and they called him callous or something stupid. Oh, black bodies. Give me a break. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but people are like, oh, people don't care about black bodies. They just want to use them for, like, slavery. That's what they call the professional players now. They're like slaves. They're black bodies, just expendable. Stupid. Anyway, the 24-year-old Buffalo Bills safety who looks sort of like that to me, although they all look the same. That rapper, Kendrick Lamar, he looks sort of like him. I don't have a picture of him, though. Damar Hamlin. We wish him well, right? Remains in critical condition. I think he's doing a little better now. I'm not sure. After collapsing on the field during a Monday Night Football game against the Cincinnati Bengals, beginning to show signs of improvement, the Buffalo Bills said in an update Wednesday. That's a couple of days ago. So anyway, speaking of that praying woman, black lesbian, works for Sleepy Joe Biden / Obama. Here's that black woman, KJP. Clip 11, this is from the Jim Jams, who's a guy who's appeared on the Jesse Lee Peterson show before. I forget what his real name is. Peter Ducey of Fox News to KJP, quote, roughly 7,000 migrants, meaning illegal invaders, are crossing every day illegally. Does the White House think the border is secure? So this might be long and boring. Is she entertaining? She's black. 2 minutes and 10 seconds long clip. Listen to this. Let's hear. I hope I have it. Do I have it? Oh, maybe it's from yesterday. Is it in the folder? From yesterday's folder? Let me jump down because I don't have much time. If you can search for it, and then I'll pull that up. Let me jump down, though. I'm going to skip over this Title 42 nonsense from this far-left females at the Skim. They're talking about it, blah, 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 blah. But I saw this from Federale, fifth columnist. Federale is Federale, fifth columnist.wordpress.com. Federale, fifth columnist.wordpress.com. December 30th report, or December 30th blog post, if you will, report / blog post / op-ed. Don't fall for the Title 42 trap. Trap with a T, but you could also spell it with a C. Sorry, kids. Title 42 gives the executive branch absolute authority to determine the admissibility of aliens based on public health concerns, right? JLP's been talking about this, the illegal alien disease. The illegal alien disease. And then suddenly we have the China virus, right? Interesting. But, because diseases are getting worse and worse, seemingly. The authority is not reviewable by the courts. First, let it be known that the use of Title 42 was completely legal. Yeah, the border clip 11. But we can play that in a second. Let me play this first, or talk about this first, and show from border immigration invasion, something like that, this black judge. It's a screenshot of this relatively light-skinned black judge, because this guy's a piece of work, and I've talked about him before. The claim by federal Patriotic, I had to look that up. That means back in the Old Testament times, the Israelites were ruled by judges. So they're calling this guy a Patriotic, because he's ruling. Judges are supposed to just interpret the law, but this guy's ruling over the America. This sleazebag, this scumbag. Sorry, kids. Emmett Sullivan, he's black, kind of old. I think he's married to this Jewish lady, if I'm not mistaken, white Jewish lady, who may also herself be a judge, but don't quote me on that. I mean, you can quote me, but also include that I could be wrong on that. Sullivan is this, a Patriarch. Sullivan is infamous for ordering the creation of a special prosecutor to continue the case against former Trump advisor and nationalist three-star General Michael Flynn, former head of the National Security Administration. Michael Flynn, General Flynn. So this scumbag went after Flynn, and he's also meddling his grubby little fingers in the border situation. Emmett Sullivan usurped the authority of the executive branch to decide on whom to prosecute. Yeah, what a mess. So he's usurping executive authority as well as legislative authority. You hear about judges legislating from the bench, activist judges, liberals. They do that. Disgusting. I think he said, arguably, sir, you sold out your country. What is up with these lame liberal judges? What is this called? What did I just call it? Expressing their silly political opinions, kissing up to women, kissing up to the liberals, hating conservatives, hating Trump. Look at that guy. It's like a frown and a smile all at once. You know he's confused. Poor guy. Nice mustache and patch beard type of thing going there. He looks like he should have more dignity than he apparently has. Old people who are gray are supposed to have wisdom. Terrible. I interrupted my point and I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, these people are judges. The courts are corrupt. Kangaroo courts. It's ridiculous. Do you want to hear Karine Jean-Pierre? Let me finish with Federale's points, though. This is a January 3rd report. Immigration court backlog grows. The solution is expedited removal. So he said if Title 42 they're leaning too heavily on that. Sleepy Joe is pretending to use it. He's only selectively using it. He's pretending, and all these people are invading, and he's helping it happen. The number of illegal aliens that have entered the United States is over 5.5 million. Since when? I'm not sure. But almost 800,000, according to a report that Federale, fifthcolumn.wordpress.com reports. And he shares a report also from Fox News. 800,000 people are waiting on asylum hearings. Typically takes 1,572 days, 1,572 days, which is 4.3 years for one asylum hearing to happen once you're like Once you're assigned to have an asylum hearing, 4 and almost a half years. The Border Patrol had more than 2.2 million encounters with illegal crossers between ports of entry in the southwest border in fiscal year 2022. A recent report from DHS Inspector General indicates most of the illegal crossers are not put in detention facilities or expelled under Title 42. Yeah, something like only 80,000 or something were ejected under Title 42. But rather, maybe less than that, but rather a process for outcomes allowing them to be released in the United States to await for immigration hearings. This has overwhelmed the immigration courts. A communist tactic, I always say, is to overwhelm the system, to break it, and then rebuild it. And they're breaking the white countries. Shameful. The immigration court backlog was 1.2 million cases, more than that, almost 1.3. At the end of fiscal 2020, last full fiscal year of the previous administration, Trump's. Under the current administration, it has risen to 2 million cases at the end of November 2022. That's according to Biden's border crisis, shared on Fox News, but Federale quoted from it. More than 5.5 million illegals were released into the United States on parole or with a notice to report. Many of these just disappeared, knowing that their asylum claims are fraudulent. He says there's a solution: expand and mandate the use of expedited removal, ER. The Administrative Deportation Authority, held by the DHS, Department of so-called Homeland Security. Total misnomer, because we have the fox guarding the hen house. Nobody in Homeland Security has any honesty, apparently. Maybe I'm overstating that. Provided Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996. They provided for expedited removal. So since 1996, we could have expeditiously removed these people. But currently, the Biden administration is not implementing ER on the millions that are flooding the border. Congress should expand and mandate the use of ER to end the current crisis at the border, says Federale. January 5th report yesterday, he said, Biden regime parole amnesty is expanding. Because Sleepy Joe pretended, he's cracking down on the illegals. I have 5 minutes to go. Most interesting is the admission that the illegal aliens are subject to expedited removal, ER, which was Federale's proposed solution to what he calls the Zerg rush. You gamers may know what a Zerg is. I had to look it up. Zerg rush. Zergs multiply and can overwhelm people, and that's what they're doing to the white countries in this video game. Like a bunch of zombies, crazy. Or animals, or cockroaches. Not to use dehumanizing language, but don't cockroaches multiply? Anyway, like rabbits. How about rabbits? That's nicer. Anyway, previously, the Biden regime was claiming that all invaders were fleeing persecution and deserved to be admitted, refusing to use ER, expedited removal, for 2 years. In fact, one of the first acts of the Biden regime administrative amnesty was revoking previous implementation of ER. Effective immediately, individuals who attempt to enter the United States without permission do not have legal basis to remain and cannot be expelled pursuant to Title 42 will be increasingly subjected to expedited removal to their country of origin. So now they're finally admitting that they can do it. But they're going to be very selective with it. Shameful. Not doing their job. You have one job, government, but you don't care to do your job. Subject to the 5-year ban on re-entry. Wow, you get a 5-year ban on re-entry. That's nice, I guess. It's also a tacit admission as well that the asylum claims of illegal aliens are using are fraudulent. It has been well established, but 95% of so-called asylum claims are fraudulent. So these people calling them asylum seekers. Phony. They should be calling them so-called asylum seekers. Biden regime solution is to parole all the fraudulent asylum claimants into the United States, give them work authorization. Then, as with Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, the Dreamers program, dare what he calls soon-to-be President Ron DeSantis to deport them, or whoever the next president may be. Dare him to deport them. I don't think Trump was able to deport the DACA dreamer suckers, was he? Or could he have? De facto amnesty via the illegal use of parole. Interesting stuff from Federale. Thank you, man. Reminds me of this lady who used to do, and I don't know if she still does, Refugee Resettlement Watch. Ann Corcoran. On top of it. And he may cover other stuff, but I came across that. He was tweeting it out and different things. So, right on, man. Oh, shall I play that, Karine Jean-Pierre? Do you guys want to see it? She might be entertaining. Let's play it. And then we'll end the show. Oh, dang. Okay, here's Karine Jean-Pierre. Bogus speeching. BSing. Bogus speech. Here it is.
Does anybody around here think that the southern border is secure?
What I can tell you is this is a president has been working since day one to work on border security, to make immigration a priority. That's why he put forth a comprehensive immigration reform plan, legislation. And here's the thing. As the president is coming forward and trying to come up with solutions, the difference here is that you have Republicans, as you know, who are doing political stunts. And, and we've called that out over and over and over again. And the president is willing to work with Congress, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, to work on these issues that matter to the American people. But this is an issue that the president has taken very, very seriously since day one of his administration.
Yeah, right.
But roughly 7,000 migrants crossing every day illegally. Does the White House believe the border is secure?
Look, I've told you what we have done, what we have made this a priority. To make sure,
are they working?
To make sure that there's border security measures. Look. Here's the thing, Peter. The president has taken historic actions, right? That no other president has been able to do. When you think about the 23,000 agents that we have been able to put out there to deal with the issue that we're seeing at the border.
Blah, blah, blah.
And that is something that he did without a lot of Republican support. Right? Make sure that we are dealing with a real issue. When you think about the smugglers, really putting a plan in place that we deal with the smugglers, right? And we have to be very careful here, Peter, on how we talk about this, because if we talk about it in a way that is misinformation, then it helps the smugglers. And so these are the issues that the president has taken incredibly seriously. And again, I will say this, I just said it moments ago, he's willing to work with Republicans, he's willing to work with Democrats, he's willing to work with independents to work on this issue, to move forward with his comprehensive plan that he put forward on day one of his administration.
Except black. Man, that was hard to sit through. No more blah, blah, blah. To quote my favorite climate hysteric, mentally ill Swedish child, no longer a child. Not very ladylike either, though. Oh, well, I can't comment on that. We are overtime. Can we play I Wonder As I Wander by Fangs? Lujo Records. Thank you, guys. Adios, America. Catch The Fallen State, catch Nick's stream, catch Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Have a nice weekend. Merry Christmas. And pray for the persecuted patriots and decent people. Adios.
Jesus.